I got to kick this thing off. Can I kick it off? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, listen.
Hi, I'm Marika Moore, and if you want to get all up in my business, you should check out my new book, Unsolicited Marriage Advice, where I provide an analysis of the best marriage advice that I've received over the past 16 years or so. So head on over to Amazon and buy it now.
Conversate with Us Radio presents the Man Listen Show. We are the blackest radio show on the internet. We bring you our opinion on topics that affect the black community in an effort to enlighten, enrich, and empower every brother and sister that falls under the sound of our voice. We operate on a no-hating frequency, so be prepared for us to keep it 100% real and 100% black all the time. Please follow the show on Facebook and Instagram at Man Listen Show. Go to the link on our bio. You can get our hoodies. You can get our books. It's hoodie season. Go ahead and copy one, fellas, because you know your girl's going to steal yours. And go to the YouTube channel. Click that bell icon so you can be notified of our upcoming shows. Just make sure you tell everybody about the blackest radio show on the internet, the Man Listen Show. I'm your host, Mar B. Let's bring the crew in. Shout out to C. So, hey, man. So, we keep saying they coming after black people. And it's getting more and more dire. We talked about how I've said it. I'll speak for myself. I'm an election denier. And, we saw something on social media. Somebody was talking to Joy Reid, and they were talking about the discrepancies in the voting in North Carolina in terms of how the Democrats won certain seats, but then Kamala underperformed against those same people, and have, I think they said the superintendent of schools outperformed Kamala, and it's just, they said statistically it was just impossible for it to happen. But we've said this, right? So now with this whole Project 2025, now there's a law, there's a case in front of the Supreme Court. I think they're going after I think it's called VRA2. So basically, in the past, there were laws put into place that restricted certain states in their ability to make decisions and legislation for voting, right? They couldn't just redraw up voting districts. They had to be approved by the Supreme Court. So now what these people are doing, they're trying to say that it's racist. They're pulling the reverse racism card. They say it's racist to be able to make them, to have them have to do this. And with the way the current court is set up, many people feel like it's another step into gutting the Voting Rights Act, because as soon as this happens, they're going to start redrawing the districts. I think they said almost 19 seats will flip in the South, going to the Republicans. So basically, you'll just have a one-party rule in the House of Representatives. It's a lot, and I don't even know where to start. The reason why I started this show is because, and the reason why I asked you two to be on the show, because y'all smarter than me and y'all can cover stuff better than I can. So I'm gonna ask you, what's your opinion on this whole situation? Because obviously it affects Black people. Because remember, our main goal is to talk about what happens for Black people, right? And when you look at how the majority of the Black population in the U.S. lives in the South, and these are the states that they're targeting for redistricting, it's a no-brainer who they're going after. So when you see this, what do you all think?
Maybe time for another civil war. I mean, seriously, it might be time to start leaving these states that feel like they can redistrict and rezone their way into dominating the Senate or whatever. May start, motivating us to really take account of who is and who is not voting in these elections that mean so much. All these people who, I mean, election denier or not, you still voted. And your vote still, whether it got thrown in the trash or it got applied, you still showed up and did your part. And my thing is, for all these people that are not doing their part, hey, maybe time, maybe time to leave them behind. And while we have states like California, Gavin, over there, like, well, we'll redistrict and make more Democratic votes, or we'll do this and we'll fight back, or Chicago, we fight back. Maybe we need to go start pouring our energy into the states and the cities that are really fighting for control in the Senate, as opposed to people who are just bowing down and kowtow, as they say.
What you
Yeah, that it sounds good. But my thought on that is that's exactly what they want you to do. So you flood Chicago. Guess what? It's already blue as can be. It's not gonna get any bluer. They're not gonna get any more seats. Go ahead and go to Chicago. Go to LA. You know what I mean?
because
Go
that's
to
how they do it, right? They just
yeah,
basically put them all in one little
yeah.
district.
Put them in all one little.
Make one big district, draw it through zip codes. So okay, all you black folks is right here.
Yeah.
So that you basically nullify your vote. That's how they do it.
So, it's I think while it affects black people, I think the ultimate goal is to create chaos. And so when they create chaos, what it does is you either get a reaction of apathy from a lot of people that are just like, you know what, it's not even worth the fight, or you get the extreme opposite when they're like, well, they're playing dirty, then we're gonna play dirty, and so then that just it undermines everything that we thought that the country was founded on. So, and I've said it before, really what we really need, and I've not heard anybody say, is we need a brand new constitution. We need a constitutional convention. I mean, just honestly scrap the government and start over from scratch. Something that's not based on um tenets and beliefs that we really never believed in, that just look good on paper. We need something that's actual and factual, and that deals with what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, but we've talked about that before. We talked about limiting, putting age restrictions, right? Shout out to Glitch McConnell on that ice.
Oh yeah.
As soon as they asked him about it, he said, "Oh, shit, he fell." Then you say he got right back up. I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
yeah," but I think that's all ideal. But that's something radical, revolutionary is going to have to happen
Yes.
for that to take place.
That's what we need.
I don't think that many Americans are there yet. Like we talked about it in the past, how our ancestors would say, "Hey, listen, we'll walk for months until you treat us better on this bus system." I don't think that we are built like our ancestors to inconvenience ourselves yet.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's going to take more than just black people. It's going to
Yeah.
take the blacks, the Hispanics, the LGBTQIA. It's going to take
Plus. Yeah.
plus. Right, okay, another one. Okay. You added another one. I just got that. I just got the other one down. Now that was another one. Shit. But it's going to take, and that's the reason why they stoked this division. I was talking to somebody and they were like, yeah, I don't agree with everything that Trump does, but I just have a problem with, guys dressing like women and using our bathrooms. And I'm just like, dude, that's such a, like, for that to be the reason why you would give that idiot your vote. I mean, I just don't have no words for that. Like, come
Well,
on now.
yeah.
And my point being is that as long as they keep everyone divided, the real ones that are patting their pockets, Republicans and Democrats, hey, y'all keep fighting over here while we keep getting fat back.
Yep.
And that's the issue. So, yes, I think we as black people, we're going to talk about solutions for black people, right? Because that's what we do. But I think that in order for it to really, really, really kick off, you're going to have to get them white folks involved. They're going to have to be.
Has to. Yeah. I mean, I've always
Just like
been
we,
of that
just like
belief.
we, just like even if 100% of us voted for Hillary or Kamala, there's no way that we could have kept him out of office. So they have to do something.
Yeah.
But also, like, you have to understand that when people say things like, "Oh, I just don't agree with them using our bathrooms," like that's a veil that they use to protect them from being out racist. Because obviously, I've used the men's bathroom before. I'm sure in dire needs. Hey, if like my kid has to use the bathroom, I'm like, hey, listen, there's stalls in here. We're gonna come in here and use the bathroom. No one's gonna be like up in arms about it. You
Look,
don't
look,
really
look,
care
look.
that other
No.
You
people are
don't.
using the
I'm gonna tell you
bathroom.
why they don't care. I'm gonna tell you why they don't care. Most of us have spent significant time in the state of Missouri, right? Lived,
Hmm.
made money in the state of Missouri, and one of the major airports, MCI, Kansas City, right? There is an all gender restroom.
Yeah.
I remember I walked in there. I walked in because I wasn't paying attention. I saw the man, I was just, traveling, just walking. And I saw this woman washing her hands. And I was like, oh shit. And she said, no, 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 you're in the right place. And I was like, and I looked and I saw where it said all gender, and I was like, oh, okay, because I ain't gonna lie, maybe everybody else, that has happened to me before where like I just wasn't really paying attention
Yeah.
and I'm not on no perv shit. I just walked in and then I was like, where the damn urinals at? And I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
hey,
Yeah,
there's no need for urinals in here. Let me get my
Yeah.
ass up out of here before they try to Emmett Till a brother, right? So my point being is you got an all gender restroom and nobody says nothing.
No.
I'm in the all gender restroom in Kansas City Airport with white women. I started telling myself like, boy, you something kind of stupid. You better walk up out of here and let this woman get through washing her hands.
Yeah.
So it's
but
to your point, Erika. You're right. It's just a veil. It's a shield so that they
Hmm.
can say, okay, because most people
okay.
I think it was Dave Chappelle. Can you remember Dave Chappelle had like really had it out for like the trans community for a while, right? He was doing
Add
multiple,
it out.
huh?
I don't
He's
know if I
he,
would use that phrasing.
What? What's wrong with that? What's say wrong?
Had it out for them?
no,
He
no, I'm
did.
saying he still does.
Well, I haven't seen him. I mean, he did like multiple shows
Yeah.
about
It's
them.
not past tense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Commentary. I don't think he had it out for them. I think that he had commentary on how people get treated based on their like vocalness about that community.
Okay.
How
Whatever.
ridiculous he thought the whole
But
thing was. Yeah.
the motherfucker had two shows, two comedy shows where he really honed in on that community, right?
Hmm.
So, but one of the points he made was like, even the L, the G, and the B, and the plus or whatever, none of them fool with the T, right?
Uh,
So they play on that, right? Because they play
yeah.
on that because most people don't understand. They don't get it, right? So
Uh-huh.
to me, it's an easy way for them to say, okay, well, you're for that. And to me, I'm like, I could not care less
Right.
about a man who wants to dress like a woman or a woman who wants to dress like a man. I could not care less.
Yeah.
The only time I would care is if they was trying to rub up on me. And
Hmm.
since none of them seem to be attracted to me, I haven't had that damn problem. So it's not going to dictate how I vote.
Right. No, it's definitely a distraction. That's it's almost like the old what about black on black crime? It's or what about Chicago? It's just another thing that they add to the list to when they want to Mitch McConnell and not answer a question, and and not have an answer, and they always divert, and so that's what it is. It's just diversion because they really don't have a logical reason to say they support this guy
They don't want to say
without sounding like
they
an
don't want to say
idiot.
that they cover for white
Yeah,
supremacy.
that's what I'm saying. Without sounding like an idiot. Yeah, that's the only thing. And it still is still idiotic, but
And speaking of
without sounding like
Chicago,
a
we
complete
talked about it
racist.
last show. I mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
We talked about them going out to Chicago, and you saw how they went after that. I don't know if it was a housing project or some building. ICE went there and it was pulling out brown babies. This is the only time I'll say black and brown. Brown babies, black babies, had them in zip ties, had them naked. And
Mhm.
if the brown people couldn't prove that they were citizens, they got to go. And if the black people couldn't prove they didn't have warrants, they had to stay detained as well. So
Right.
all that stuff that we was talking about in the last episode, I think maybe like the day or so after we put the episode out, this shit happens, right? So it's getting real. It's real. It's not getting real.
Yeah,
It's real.
it's been real. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, it's folks that it's getting publicized now, but it's I mean local, but it's not ICE, but local police have been going into housing projects and stuff like that for years and knocking people's doors down and oh sorry, we had the wrong house. And guess what? You got to clean it up yourself. You're responsible for uh putting your house back together and stuff like that. So, you know, it definitely get more publicized because it's ICE, but it's you know, people in certain communities have lived in fear of the police coming on no knock warrants for years.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you know they will kill people over that too. And those lawsuits don't go anywhere because they're like, oh well, you know, they had reason to believe,
Exactly. Hmm.
or you know, they suspected or whatever. So, and you saw that little black boy, they shipped him to another state without his parents' permission. He was like, "Man, I'm black."
Right. Exactly. I'm a
Really? What happened? I
citizen.
didn't see that. What happened?
It was a child of maybe say 13, a little
Hmm.
black boy. God, they said they detained him and shipped him to another state without his parents' permission or knowledge. Couldn't find out he was just he wasn't even Hispanic. Yeah, that ICE are the new age mafia
Well, I
coming
said the last
through.
episode, they the Gestapo. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically,
Yeah.
yeah, new, you know,
yeah, they
slave
don't care.
catchers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have been trying to explain this to the brown people for generations that you are a hop, skip, and a jump away from being where we are, and now they are the jump, and now we're catching the strays. And we like, hey, we wouldn't be catching these strays if you guys would have just voted with us in the first place. But here we are catching strays because y'all are stupid. Now here we are. So yeah, they
Yeah.
took that
Well,
little black
because
boy a couple of weeks.
you know, I think part of it too, historically, every other, and I guess every other group was quote unquote voluntarily came to the country. We did, our ancestors didn't, but all these other groups they bent over backwards to assimilate. They didn't want, they basically downplayed their culture. They give their kids American names that just sound like Billy and Bob. Well, you know your name isn't Kim. You know what I'm saying? Your name isn't Cynthia or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
Mhm.
black people are the only people who consistently have tried to maintain their independence in this country, and they don't like that.
ADOS.
Yeah,
ADOS.
eight. Yeah, that's
Rika's
you know.
We are
ingenuity.
the ones
Yeah.
Rika, what?
yeah, because I mean, here's the thing. Those immigrants, they are taught that it behooves them to be the buffer class, to move closer to whiteness, and to not be associated with the blacks in order for them to elevate their status. I was in London. I don't think I said this story on the show, but I was in London and I did a tour of damn, I'm having a brain fart. What's the black neighborhood in London? Brixton.
Brookston.
So
Yeah.
I was in Brixton, right? And there was a food tour there. So you go through Brixton, they had, you know, obviously West Indian, Jamaicans, you know, beef patties, all that stuff. There was the African influence, you know, we was, you know, getting the jollof rice and all of this, that, and the other. And then the final stop was at an Irish pub. It's at an Irish pub. And most of us on the tour were ADOS, right? ADOS. So when dude was like, "Hey, we're going to an Irish pub," you know, they playing reggae, whatever, and he was like, "I know what y'all thinking." He was like, "For y'all, the Irish separated from y'all, right? You remember when the Irish came over, they was looked at as black.
Mm-hmm.
They was looked at as black, and then all of a sudden, they was like, "Hey, y'all could be white if you vote and you act this way." But over there, they said, "Hey, us and the Irish, we ride for each other. He said, us and the Irish over here, he said, if a skinhead was attacking me, an Irish person would come help me because they know that those people don't really like them either. So the white supremacy over here really did it the best because they got everybody messed up. They
Outside of
really did.
Germany, but yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right about that. But Germany, they finally lost. But
yeah,
and listen, and we don't want no problem with those people who rhyme with rule. So we're gonna leave that alone.
yeah. So at the Irish pub, they had like, well, we can, like they had
it was Jamaican. It was like Irish beer.
okay.
They had like it was like Caribbean food.
Okay.
It's Caribbean food. Like, and it was like whites, blacks. Well, to us, whites, but it's probably Irish, blacks. But yeah, it was straight up like that in Brixton for sure. Yeah. And they was welcoming. And and it seemed authentic.
Yeah.
It seemed authentic because there's nothing that I dislike the most. That's exaggerating, but
yeah, we know.
One of the things that I don't like is when a business is black targeted.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you target black people, but you not black owned, I don't fool with that.
Or I don't necessarily care about the black owned part as much as I do about what you're doing for the black community, not just wanting the money.
Mm-hmm. Like if you're just benefiting from and not
because there's a lot of black quote unquote black owned restaurants that really could give two flying about you either.
That may be true. That may be true, but I think that how do you prove that?
I mean, easy.
How?
People's impact in the community is felt.
Yeah.
That's why businesses survive or fail in the community because of their impact.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that is the only true barometer of how a business succeeds in a community, especially a small community. Because when you have these little mom and pop shops that just do so well, it's not because they're just serving the greatest food you ever had in your whole life. It's more to it than that. It's atmosphere, it's their community impact, it's how they're engaging with the community. And that community has decided to support that business. And that's how a restaurant survives. The restaurateur business is cutthroat. It's hard to survive. It's terrible. So if you're surviving, it's more than just the quality of the food. It's like investors and the community engagement. So I think that your survival is indicative of your interactions with the community.
Okay. Well, so in y'all's mind, if it's a black targeted business, if they're employing black people, if they're reinvesting in the community, it's okay.
No.
Yeah, I don't know when you say black tar, you mean like if it was a restaurant that like say
restaurant bar.
Okay, let me let me ask you this then, and it might hit close to home. If you found out Gates sold out and Gates was no longer black owned, would you not go to Gates Barbecue anymore?
No.
So even if no, I'm saying because there was a time when that was the case. Apparently,
I didn't know it.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, but yeah,
no, I wouldn't go.
Yeah,
no.
So you would stop going to Gates, the best barbecue in Kansas City,
yes.
according to
me, yeah, it is the best.
So
if the only thing that changed was he didn't own 51%, he owned 49.
No,
or something like that. You know what I'm saying? See, I don't.
You asked me a question, and I answered.
No, that's what I say. I can't say I would do that. Yeah.
I disagree.
Yeah. And I can't.
Especially if you ask me the question.
No, I wouldn't even. I'm not even gonna say I disagree. Everybody has the right to do what they do. I'm just saying I wouldn't do it. But
I went to Gates. I went to Gates last week, and I saw two non-melanated, and I ain't even talking about Mexican and Chinese. I saw two white dudes in the back cooking the meat, and I looked at the lady. I said, I ain't never seen this happen before. And I picked up an old head bro of me and Labs. And I said, I said, man, I saw something again. He said, what? You saw two white boys in the back? I said, yeah. He was like, time's changing, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Which kind of made me, because y'all remember when we recorded Man Listen in Dallas, I took y'all to my spot.
Mm-hmm.
I took y'all to my spot. We had a great time, right? Kicked it. I went in one day and I looked and I saw somebody that wasn't one of us just walk in the back. First of all, I saw them there. And I'm like, I ain't never seen y'all in here before. And then I'm observing. And then I seen one just walk in the back, and like his friends came in. He's walking in the back. He just grabbed a couple beers and handed it to him. And I was like, what?
What?
What's
Yeah.
what's this? So I pulled one of the little girls that worked there to the side. And I said, hey, come here. Y'all got new owners? She was kind of like scared. She was like, and I said, just tell me. She was like, we're supposed to say that they're just investors. Because when I walked in, the place looked different. They had put money into it, big old screen TV, added
Uh,
type of seating and stuff. And they was like, "Yeah, you like how it looks?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, y'all didn't it was already cool the way it was to me, but all right, you ain't
Mhm.
reinvesting in your business." And then I said, "Well, what happened to the old owners?" They said, "Well, they're still a part of it, but they're only here somewhat." I can't fool with that, man. I can't fool. I don't like it. Don't sit right with me. Black targeted
mm.
businesses. That's just
They
me.
like, now that you
Yeah.
built up the black audience, I'm gonna go ahead and swoop in and make millions off of y'all.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, here's the deal. There's been a question to say, hey, listen, if a business, so say there's three people, right? Two are white, one is black, and they own a restaurant. Is that considered a black owned business?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
not
I would
predominantly.
I would say yeah, I don't I never thought about it in that. It all depends on how the what the restaurant is, like who has the higher percent. If they're equal partners, yeah, I would say you have as equal a share to be owners as everybody else. But it's similar to like is Magic Johnson the owner of the Washington Commanders because he owns just 2%, kind of, and most
But
people
think
don't
but
consider that.
but think about that though, right?
Most people don't consider that a black owned team, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
But think about that though. I don't know how many people are considered most,
Yeah.
but we've talked about it in the past. Remember, they said Usher was
Mm-hmm.
part owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Mm-hmm.
Serena and Venus, part owner of the Miami Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Jay
It's a
Z,
lot of them.
Jay Z, part owner of the Brooklyn Nets. And what we found out was that really it's more of a marketing deal than actual equity because the equity involved is what, like less than 1%. I think even Jay-Z, with as much power and influence he has, what did he have, like 2% in the Nets? Because remember, Cats were
Mm-hmm.
trying to go after him, was like, dude, you own 2%.
Right.
Well, 2% of an NBA franchise is a lot more than what the hell I got. So I can't clown him on that, right?
Right.
Even though I'm
Right.
a Nas
Mm-hmm.
fan, he got 2% of a lot. I got 100% of
Or
not shit.
you
So
you
I
you made
can't,
a good point.
so I
It's
can't.
the same thing with the Nas guy with this casino going. You know what I mean?
And see, I'm trying to figure out that whole deal with the Nas deal because
Mm-hmm.
my question is, can we talk about economics?
Mm-hmm.
People
Let's get
made
Dame Dash. Let's let him explain it to us.
people made a big deal. People made a big deal about Nas getting his bid pushed through, Jay-Z getting his denied.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference. Jay-Z's would have called for construction in Times Square.
Yeah.
Nas calls for redevelopment in an already established casino.
Mm-hmm.
Right. My question is, how much equity
Right.
Nas having that? Did you get paid to be the face, or do you have some equity tied into it?
I
I can
think he
see
has
how
some equity. I think he has some equity.
I didn't
Keep
know.
it simple.
Huh?
Don't we gotta start somewhere though? I'm
I
like,
mean,
if
I
down
think you could.
and
I'm not hating on it though.
where we
Now I
at?
can say something because I see the ills of gambling. I don't like
Um,
how this
how do we,
sports betting, dick hard pills, this all they damn market to
how,
us with these
how
black
do we
celebrities.
deviate?
Let me finish. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Let me finish. I see a problem with that. I grew up with somebody who had a problem with gambling. I know what it could do to a family. So I have a fucking issue with it. I don't care if nobody agrees with me or not. I don't. So are you getting equity in this? What's the community going to get out of it? Because if you just a face, and yeah, I'm a Nas fan. If you just a face and you bringing in this to the community and you cash out, but then the community suffers, how's that benefit going to outweigh the potential ills for what you're bringing in? I got those questions.
You can't criticize things like Tina Turner leaving her money to the white man and it not trickling back down to the black community, and then be mad at people like Nas trying to get his money wherever he can get it, and then letting it trickle down to the black community. You can't have it both ways. Like,
How am I
if you're
mad
gonna have a
about
if you're
how am
gonna
I
have
mad
a
about
gambling,
Nas? How did I say I was mad about Nas? I said I had questions.
you talking okay, questions, whatever. But my thing is like, you're going to say that like for gambling and whatever, whoever got a gambling problem, they're gonna have a gambling problem no matter who owns it. And I'm not saying that we should just ignore that people have gambling problems, but I'm also saying I'm not going to invest in something or not invest in something because people have an addiction. I'm
That's
not going
you.
to not
That's you,
have a
your
gambling
morals
plan
and
because
your
they're
code of
drunk as
conduct. That doesn't dictate what I do.
so you telling me that nobody should invest in alcohol because some people have alcohol addiction? Nobody should invest in weed because people have weed addictions. Like, come on, these are
I'm
money
telling you
making.
what my line in the sand is. I don't care what your line in the sand is. I'm
Yes,
telling you
but
what
also
mine is.
So you wouldn't. What about so speaking of? So what about cannabis though? Like, what should there not be black people investing in? Those businesses.
I don't feel cannabis is a negative.
but that's my thing.
Okay.
Your personal line in the sand can't
It's
be that
mine.
you
I didn't try to
yes,
convince
okay.
y'all.
We can't but you do though, because you are very adamant against gambling. So
Well,
you do
I'm very
he
adamant.
explained. He explained it. Just he just
I'm
explained
very
it.
adamant about online sports betting because who it targets. Yes.
yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also those people are going to be targeted no matter who the investors are.
Okay, so let me
I
ask you
mean,
this.
those people
So
are
let me
going to
ask
be
you this.
involved no matter who the investors are.
Let's bring it back to what we talk about, right?
Okay.
One of the people who was highly invested, we got these oligarchs, these tech oligarchs, right? That are
Mhm.
really up close and personal with Trump. You know why you got JD Vance? You know why you got JD Vance? You got JD Vance because of Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel financed JD Vance. Look it up. Peter Thiel owns Palantir. Palantir is the company that is really invested. See, how can I explain this in the right way? They're invested in technology that they use for defense systems and their algorithm and how it targets different people. And now that information, that technology is being used by law enforcement, can be used by law enforcement as well to profile Black people. Palantir is one of the stocks that you could invest in and make a ton of money. There's no way in hell I would put any money into Palantir. So, by what you're saying, right? Just because I said my personal line is saying is this gambling right here, and I have a question about it. I'm not questioning anybody else's, but
Right.
what you're saying is it's okay to invest in Palantir too, right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's
I
what I'm
don't know.
Okay,
I
saying.
don't
then.
know.
Why am I getting grilled about my shit?
Yeah. I would say this when it comes to the investing, really when it comes to anything financial, and I've said it before, if you're gonna have a hard line on certain things, then my only issue with people that do is there has to be a consistency. So if you're not willing to do that, then have you checked all of your assets in the stock market, meaning mutual funds, do you know that they have a percentage of these? And if they do, are you willing to divest from those yourself? You see, I mean, things like that. And so
I don't really give a damn like that. Like, you know, Arika said it several times
that's the
Arika
only
has said it
reason
several
I have.
times why she don't fool with Walmart, right?
Yeah.
Guess what? I just had a Walmart delivery today. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to convince her to shop at Walmart. I don't
No,
give a
no.
damn.
But what I'm
It's
saying is
mine.
if you say I'm not going to invest in Palantir, but you have several mutual funds or hedge funds that you invest in that invest in them, then you are investing in Palantir.
Exactly.
Okay, so is everybody drilling down deep into
No,
everything
no,
they do? They
I'm
don't.
saying no, but
So I mean, I don't.
that's what I said. That's what I'm
He said
saying.
that's the point, is that
That's
we're
the
all
point.
like balls deep in the
Well, fuck it.
That's
deception.
what
Okay,
we're
all right. Well,
all it's
let me go.
all into it. It's
Let me go put a
intertwined.
bunch of money in the DraftKings and
No,
motherfucking roll dick hard pills so you motherfuckers will be happy. That'll
no,
get me.
no, 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 no. It has nothing to do
I'm
with you
going to be happy. I don't
participating in
gamble.
that. It has nothing to do with you participating in the action that you despise. But if you're investing via stock, then that's what I'm saying. If that is so deplorable to you that you say it's uninvestable, then we need to make sure, and it's not just you, it's everybody. That's why honestly sometimes I don't I invest in certain companies, not necessarily in mutual funds. They may have 300 companies that are on that fund, and 80 of them I don't agree with. And that's just me.
I will tell you this, man. Kudos to you for doing that due diligence. But as for me, what I can see, that's what I'm going to choose to invest in or not.
But you can see it. You
And
literally go on their site and they tell you.
and I don't have an issue with Nas being the face of that casino. I simply said I have questions. Did you get equity? And how does the Black community benefit from what you helped push through? That's it.
No, no, no.
All I said.
I'm not arguing that
All
at
I
all.
said.
No, I'm not arguing.
So
I'm just
same
saying
thing. I'm
when
not either.
I'm just
Go
saying
ahead.
when you come out with absolutes and say this company is uninvestable, I will never invest in it. Then I'm just saying you just need to make sure that you're not investing in it. That's
Yes.
all I'm saying.
And
That's all I'm
That's a
saying.
good point, but that don't change. That don't change what
No,
I'm
no,
saying
no. I'm
about
not asking you
Nas.
to
no.
change. I'm just saying. Just make sure of that.
And then for me, my point is where you're saying that like Nas is investing in this, that, or the other. You can't say that you don't like it when the millions or whatever that these black celebrities are making don't trickle back down into the black community, but then you criticize them for going out and making these dollars that are trickling back down into the black community because his daughter with Khalees is on his album, so she's getting this money. This is a black child getting
What
the
are you
black.
saying? I'm not following you. What are you
I'm
saying?
saying his money is going to her. You criticize Tina Turner for her money going to her white
We all
husband.
did. We all did.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But I'm saying we can't criticize black dollars leaving the black community. And here we have people making dollars and keeping them in the black community, and we're still criticizing them. Like you got to give some type of leeway. You got to give
Look,
some type of like grace.
I didn't
what
criticize
he's
it for
saying,
the
what
money
he's
that
I
he
think,
asked, though. I said what I asked questions. Do you have equity, and how was the Black community benefiting from that? How did you get criticism from that?
and I think what he's saying too is that it's
No,
not.
no, 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 no. How did you get criticism from that?
First of all, everything literally that we talk about with people and how they spend their money and how that money gets trickled down celebrity wise is criticism.
Back to what I said. I said,
How did I get
do
criticism?
you
It's
have
all
equity?
criticism.
Do you have equity, and how is the Black community benefiting from
Does
it?
anybody have equity? We don't know anything about anybody's money. So anytime we start talking about or criticizing people's money, that's criticism. We don't know anything about anybody's money. We don't know how Oprah's money going. We don't know how anybody's money going.
I
We don't
criticized Tina
know.
Turner. I criticized Tina Turner.
We are
I,
criticizing
what
everybody when we talk about how their money gets attributed back to the black community. We're critiquing it and we're
Yeah.
having commentary on how their money is coming back to the black community. That's what we're doing. That's what our commentary is all about, is about how their money is benefiting the black community.
But
for better.
I think what he's saying though is that they're all, you know, when you play spades, all money ain't good money. So just to say I'm getting money at the expense of my people, I think that's what he's basically trying to say.
I agree with that.
You know,
But
I'm talking
so
about.
yeah,
we still critiquing what they're doing with their money. At the end of the day, we are all commenting on what they're doing with their money and how it's coming back or not into the Black community. We're criticizing how they're spending their money. Everybody, we're critiquing it, criticizing or critiquing, whichever. Put a little flair on it or don't.
Nah, I can't. I can't. Normally, I could rock with you, but nah, I can't. I can't rock with you on that. I disagree 100%.
so you're telling me that when Nas comes back and reports to us about how his financials worked out in his business deal and explains to us how his money is spent, then we're not going to make a decision. We're not going to make a judgment based on whether or not he did it the right way.
What I'm saying is this, and then we can move on. Nas has done a lot of positives for the hip hop community. Nas has did a lot of positive with his music. Nas has been noted as a very successful venture capitalist. And I'm sure that he's invested money in a lot of things that we don't know what he's 100% in. But he might be invested in Palantir. And if he's invested in Palantir, I would criticize him for it. As much of a fan of Nas, I am. Right? So I'm fair when it comes to that. What I am saying though is if you use your face to usher in something that when it comes down to the sum total of it all is detrimental to the Black community, you deserve to be criticized for it. So I'm asking the questions. Do you have equity? Right? The equity question is not a criticism. It's just like, okay, why were you face of this? Were you just a celebrity face? You know, did you just get paid like, hey, listen, you know, we're gonna break you off? Or long term, do you have equity and ownership? Because to your point, I do believe that Nas has good intentions for the community. You can see what he's done with his record label and bringing hip hop artists from his era back to the forefront. So if you get equity, that means you're going to benefit because casinos make bread, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to hope that you're going to do the right thing by the community. Or if you just got paid out to be the face, then that's a different thing.
Yeah.
Expectations is different. And how is the community that's surrounding? I think because we're not New York people, but I talked to some people from New York. That part of Queens, I don't even think is a Black neighborhood. So we might be talking much ado about nothing. But what does it do to the Black people in that? What does it do for the Black people in that neighborhood? What does it do to benefit them? Because whether y'all want to admit it or not, gambling does bring ills. And listen, I don't get up here on no damn high horse. I do a lot of shit that most people would judge and say, hey man, that's not morally acceptable in their eyes. I don't care. I don't care. But to try to say that there is not a negative impact on gambling, is particularly sports gambling, online sports gambling on the Black community, that's nonsense, man. So those are the questions that I asked. But anyway,
Who gets to decide what's the sum total benefit to the Black community?
you can look and see what the policies and what the impact financially is to the community.
But who gets to decide that? Based on the information, who decides if what you did or what Nas did is a sum gain or a sum loss for the Black community? Who's making that determination?
We can, you can, anybody can. So it's just like this. Give you an example since you struggling to put this together. Back in the day, I believe it was Maynard Jackson in Atlanta, right? When they were building the airport.
Mm-hmm.
They said a certain percentage has to come from Black contractors.
Yep.
It has to come. Is that type of language put into this refurbishing of this casino? Is that in there? Or is it only going to, all these other people? That's the information that we're looking for. That's the type of information that I would look for to see is how you put this black face up there, how's black people going to benefit from that?
And speaking of Maynard, that was actually something that took off where a lot of states and cities started doing that. And that's
why you bullshitting?
That's another thing they targeting right now.
And that's what they're targeting right now.
Yeah, that's what they're targeting right
because
now.
Roland Jackson, Roland Jackson, I said like your boy. I ain't gonna say his name on here, but Roland Martin talked about it. What you're about to see, all those government contracts that were going to black people is going away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we need to be looking at stuff like that.
Yeah,
because they're targeting that.
Yeah. Although, being that I used to basically I'm gonna say manage, but make sure I was those contracts, state contracts were in compliance with stuff like that. We talk about it, we don't talk about it enough. By the end of before COVID, before COVID, a lot of those contracts that were intended for us, it was white women that was getting those contracts, though, because it wasn't specifying black people, it was specifying minorities.
White women. How many times? Back to your point, Nas, are you just a face or do you have equity?
Yeah.
How many times did you have somebody say, "Hey, man, Tyrone, we went to high school with you. Come on, man, we'll give you 3% of this, but you're the black face that makes us qualify."
Yeah, that too.
Minority law.
That too.
Or the $5 Indians that stand up and be like, "Well, I'm Native American." Boy, you was white as Trump.
Man, I never forget.
I'm not getting this money. We need to be asking those questions.
Man, I'm not gonna say her name because but I'll never forget. When I was in high school, man, I was in Inroads, and it was Inroads for minority students or whatever. I was like, "How is this girl an Inroads?" She was Native. You know what I mean? But I'm like, man, her name, man. I was like, man, how?
Literally. No, but that literally brings me back to my point. So then we are passing judgment.
We're asking questions.
Efficiency. I mean, and we already said that we wanted to hold people to task for what they're doing, but
I was just about to say, we just talked about 10 minutes ago. You said we need to look at who people is voting for. You're holding them accountable. We need to hold the people that we consider quote unquote celebrities and influential even to a higher standard, to higher account.
No, I entirely agree, but I think that we like a borderline in the Breakfast Club over here. We got to look into it before we start talking shit about people. Do a little bit of,
Yeah, okay.
Google search.
No. Do not put me on the same plane as them at all.
I'm saying, don't think that Google will tell us what percentage Nas owns of the...
Literally, that is the thing he hates the most. Being compared to them.
No, because here's the deal. Here's the deal. I don't know if that financial information is disclosed.
Yeah, I don't know if it is.
It's not a government contract. They're not state. I mean, it is a government contract. But I don't know if that information is disclosed. I've asked people, right? I've asked the question. I have put it I have put it into my version of Google, the replacement for Google, ChatGPT. And it says that information hasn't really been put out there. So, it's what I want to know. And I think it's fair to be held to task for that.
Yeah,
because there's people that had an issue with Jay-Z, with them bringing the Brooklyn Nets into Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they had an issue with the gentrification that came with building that stadium and things that came around that business, that arena being in Brooklyn. I didn't really dig deep into it because I'm not a huge Jay-Z fan, but he was criticized because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right, Lad?
Yeah, no, he was.
He was heavily criticized for it.
Also, just go to the Secretary of State website and look up a company, and they will tell you who the members are and the percentage of the members' ownership.
Does that apply for every single state?
Yes.
But what that's a company. What about, because I'm assuming this would be a development
This is
corporation or
an
something.
investment group. Yeah, this is an
Yeah.
Now
investment.
that changes things, but
Yeah.
also that entity still has to say what percentage they own. So we know if they're a minority owner, then he's an even, it still gives us perspective. There's still a level of um, information that we can ascertain from public records that we can get a little bit more insight as to if we really, really wanted to know, we can find out what his ownership percentage was. And maybe not exactly, of course, because
Yeah.
like with basketball teams and football teams, of course, people are buying into those like you said, those investment groups. And so your investment into the investment group might be minimal, and we don't know what that is, but we know the investment group as a whole owns
Yeah.
percent.
And they probably
So
wouldn't list every individual member of the investment
exactly.
group. It would just be such and such
The
investment group.
investment group.
Yeah.
But we know the investment group owns 20%. We know they're not making no track. They're not making any boss moves over here.
Well,
So we can at least look and see and say, okay, this is not a person that's making a severe impact on the decision making. This is not a black owned or is a black owned business based on the fact that either their name pops up or it doesn't. If your name doesn't pop up, you're not a 51%, plus you're not making decisions.
well, shout out to y'all for being so diligent that you're drilling down into every mutual fund and
But no,
corporation
that's the thing, is we don't want to know.
that you're invested in.
Yes,
I
we
don't
willingly,
I don't I don't do that. So y'all
because
got to
we
one up on me. So
because we don't want to.
I'll hold myself accountable when it comes to that. But
We're
speaking of being
willingly
involved,
blinded.
but
Willingly
speaking of being
blinded. We don't want to
involved,
know. We don't want to know.
Oh my gosh. No one wants to know. That's the
No,
point.
that's my point. Yeah. Yeah,
Yes,
nobody
we
wants to
really
know.
don't want to know.
I think we want to know what we care about.
Yeah,
So, but speaking
that's
of
a better
level
way to put
involvement,
it. That's a better way to put it.
If I find out I'm investing in private prisons, burning a lot of places to the ground.
okay, all right. Shout out to
Just
you.
saying.
Shout out to you. But speaking of people and their level of involvement, did y'all go out to the No Kings rally in your city at all? I
It's
looked
my
at the
birthday month. I don't have time for that negative
I
energy.
looked at the numbers and I saw where they said like 51%, or speaking of percentages of involvement, most of the people that were involved in these rallies are white women.
I'm gonna
If,
stay as far
if,
away
if
as
I
I
regret
can.
my
Then.
vote as a person,
Keep me away. Yeah.
if I regret my vote as a person, like I made a mistake, I'm sorry.
So we saw that. What was
If they're running stuff, they're in the majority. I'm going opposite direction.
so what was the rally they had where they had the pussy hats on and shit right after he got elected the first time, the women's march.
Grab them. Don't grab
You
them.
remember when y'all know what I'm talking about. As soon as when Trump got
Yeah.
elected the first time, they had a big old women's march and
I
people
don't
were
remember
talking.
what it was called though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
don't remember
remember.
what it's called either, but then people was
Yeah.
like, "Black women, don't you run up there behind them white ladies?" Because
Yeah.
guess what? They did not vote. We talk about the immigrants not voting for their interests.
Yeah.
Listen,
Hey.
prime culprits right there.
Yeah.
So what do y'all think? Should Black people be more involved in these rallies, these No King rallies?
No. Mm-mm.
No,
I don't think
absolutely.
so. No.
Why
And
not?
it's not even a hard. No, I'm just gonna say no. I can't even tell you why. I just say no.
I can tell you why.
Why?
That I regret my vote shit is on you. I don't regret my vote. I voted the right way the first time. So now I don't have to feel regret and have to go out here and march in the streets. And also I decided a long time ago, when, I'm here in St. Louis when Mike Brown was murdered by the police officer. We had a whole bunch of boots on the ground. We had National Guard. We had all of that. I was there and like in the midst of it, and I was like, this is not the best use of my talents. being here, boots on the ground with armed rifles in my face. I'm pretty sure there's a better way that I can help my country than this. That's not it. So me protesting, that's not my avenue. I can't do that anymore. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I already see how they use that to incite violence. I've witnessed firsthand how the police get tired of being out there, and so they provoke the crowd so that they can use that animosity to arrest people and turn it into a whole scene. I don't have any use for any of that, but I think there's a place for it, just not for me. I can't do it at all. Not for kings, not for anything else. I can't do it.
Yeah, I think we talked about it in the past. I think rallies, marches, there are people that everybody has a role to play. And I think certain age, certain level of achievement, certain stature, your contribution to the quote unquote movement is different, right? We don't need
Mhm.
all of our attorneys out there on the front line getting arrested. You might need some that'll be out there to say, hey, listen, no, you're violating their rights, right? There'll be people out there doing that. There might be people out, behind the scenes
Mhm.
that have paper to be like, hey, listen, such and such is an activist. They got thrown in the clink. We need to bail them out. You can contribute that way. I, as much as we just said that we need them to kick it off, I'm still skeptical.
Oh, for sure.
I'm still skeptical because they don't have a good track record. And again, we talked about white supremacy and the number that is done on all of us, right? There's going to be an inflection point where everybody's going to be like, you know what? Fuck this. This is enough. I don't think that we've
Yeah.
reached that level yet. I don't know what it will be, but I think almost all of us know that that's really what it's going to take. I think what's going to happen is we're going to see what happens on this midterm election and how that goes. And I think people are going to have to say, okay, what are we going to do? Especially if the Supreme Court does what everybody thinks they're going to do, and these states redraw these voting districts, and they basically just solidify power from here on out.
Man, I I believe that that inflection point is not going to be during anyone from our generation or lifetime, because you've lived a certain way, to your 40, 50, whatever, in your life, and you're like, man, I've lived a good life, like you said, hey, it's not my role, it's not my position to be out there on the front lines anymore. It's gonna take the young folk, man. I think it's gonna be on them. So that's what I don't think it'll be in my life. It'll be when the babies. That's what it's gonna be bad for a while, possibly.
Yeah, I think though, I mean, we put ourselves out there. I mean, we got a podcast. Every single
Mm-hmm.
one of us got to punch a clock for work. So, we're putting our livelihood on the line by talking about the things that we talk about, right? So I think that it can't just be on the young people. We all still
No,
have to be involved.
the
It's
reason I say that, but the reason I say that is, I mean, I'm be straight up. Change doesn't come without physical confrontation and basically loss of a lot of life. I mean, I'm be straight up with you. And most of us at our age and we're not willing to put that on the line.
yeah.
It's gonna be some marches on the bridge. Yeah, we're gonna have to take some hits before we make some
Yeah,
real headway.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
some of the people in the comments said
I
this
think the
about
thing about it is
let me read this some of the people's comments
what?
our level of activity with this march. Paul says it was controlled opposition, in my opinion. The marches were from 10 to 12 p.m., and you had to register and it was sponsored by one of the Walmart heirs. People are going to be shook when the authorities run up on them because they were on the list. That's a good point. I don't know how true it is, but if you had to register to be a part of the rally, now I understand getting signatures for votes or whatever, stuff like that. But if this is
Yeah,
true, and
you're definitely on the list.
it's from 10 to 12, and you got to register, and you got Walmart backing it. And we said it before, whenever you got some billionaires involved, you really got to look at it. You really got to look at it.
Hey, the Crockies are hell.
Yeah, I don't know about
we
the
all know I've been
registration
boycotting
part. Yeah,
for part of a decade.
I don't know about the
I ain't
registration part.
boycotting the crunk. I'm not boycotting the crunkies because number one, I still fucks with Walmart and
The Gunners.
they gunners. They are
Personally,
gunners.
I knew he was gonna say it.
So you know.
Yeah.
Just because they own the team that we support doesn't mean that they're good people. They're horrible humans. They're horrible. They're deplorable.
Hey, again,
Anyways,
we select what we want to what we want. Is that hey, I can't be mad. I
agreed.
can't be mad at anybody because I can't be mad at people. We talk about Walmart. Rika doesn't do Walmart. We talked about last time too. I can't be mad if people say, "Forget it, man. I'm going back to Target." I mean, I can't be mad at people for that. You know what I'm saying?
I never
I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I do get disappointed when
Yeah.
you can't come on one accord. And like I said, when I was like, dog, Target's easy. You got another option.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love Target. I love going into Target. You know what I'm saying?
but I don't.
I love the people watching Target. You know what I'm saying? I
Where's
like
my
the
other
quality of the
option?
goods that I got in there. I like walking in there in the popcorn smell and all that old shit. But as soon as they say, "Hey man, we're not fooling with Target no more," I was done with it, and
Yeah.
I don't feel no type of way about it.
Who is the other option?
For me, is the Sam Walton's best Walmart.
Wally World. And this is my point. We have the most unresearched and unsupported boycotts I've ever seen in my entire life. There are more Black owned businesses on the shelves at Target that suffered because we stopped going to Target. And then Wally World is like one of the most heinous corporations in the world. And we're like, yeah, just go give them more money. But why?
Well, no,
Oh,
But this the thing.
no,
You
no,
do
no, no,
this.
no, no,
You
no,
do
no, no,
this.
no. That was my statement.
Yeah.
Pastor
I
Jamal
think it's
Bryant.
everyone's.
No, 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 no. Pastor Jamal Bryant. They said, okay, listen, we still want you to support those business. Go to their website and buy from them directly. So no, it wasn't unorganized. No, it wasn't unresearched. That's my statement. No. So
And it's no.
they did say still
Yeah.
support those Black owned businesses. We can't put that.
And to put it in layman's terms too, when it comes to just relationships, we do this with every relationship in life, though, man. You have somebody that you have a long relationship with, right? And they do something to piss you off, and you turn your back on that relationship forever. You just out of spite, and you go over it, knowing that their life could make your life could be more easy, more compatible, more comfortable, but you just despite you turn your back and do it. So what happened with Target is the exact same thing that we do in our relationship. So I'm not going to complain.
And that's why I really don't give a damn when people say like, "Oh, well, you support this, or what about that?" If we really dig down deep into it, you can call it everybody out on some form of hypocrisy or
Yeah.
whatever. So that's why I always say, this is my personal line in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to take it on for yourself. It's mine. That's it.
This is why I say unresearched. What was Target's DEI practice before they took it away? We don't know.
No, but we don't know their practice, but we know that they basically told some Black creators and creators, hey, we're not going to renew your contract because we're getting rid of our DEI policy. So regardless of what the policy was, if you cut the contract, you could still have a policy on paper, but I don't give these Black people contracts. The policy still could be on paper.
And what does it matter? And what does it matter? And what does
We
it
didn't
matter
make
if
an
you don't know
evaluation.
100%? What does it matter if you don't know 100%? The whole point of it is to set an example, and it wasn't just Target. So to
Yeah.
sit here and try to characterize it as unorganized and not well thought out, I can't let you do that because it was
No, no,
very,
no. I didn't say unorganized. I said
it was
unresearched.
very, very systematic. They not only Target was the main focus, but they also targeted, I think, McDonald's, other people as well. So I got to give them props. And I don't give the dudes that wear red a lot of props, but I got to give a shout out to Pastor Jamal Bryant. This protest, this boycott, well thought out, well organized, and I salute him for that.
I'm not saying it wasn't well thought out. I'm not saying it wasn't well organized. I'm saying it
You
wasn't
saying it's
well
well, you say it's
researched.
not well researched. How do you know that?
Yes,
How do you know that? How do you know what they researched?
That's my point. I don't know because they didn't share that information.
Did you go to the website? Did you follow him on social media and see?
Hey, did you go to the Secretary of State
Yeah,
website?
did you drill down in all the tenants? Anyway, I think we talked about it enough. Make sure y'all go to
Why
our
is
website,
everybody?
www.manlistenshow.com. Check out the past episodes. Click that bell icon. Be notified of our upcoming episodes on YouTube. Tell a friend about the show. We'll holler at you next time. Shout out to C and Jamal Bryant.